We are revealing and declassing some information that has never yet been revealed before. So without further ado, Jessie, please take it away.
Yeah, if we could get that one graphic on the screen,
Yes.
that would be great. So this next graphic comes out of the blog by Kathy Fox. And if you go to kathyfox.wordpress.com, this is the blog that is called Illuminati Players and the Battlefield Earth Realm. So this blog, I really encourage people to go visit Kathy's site, read the blog. This is going to help tie things together. It's going to be a wealth of information as we're taught, getting into these realms, the portals, the end time events, the major players who are involved. All this information is going to be there for you guys. If we can pull that back up. So as we look at this, this demographic, if you look at that very middle section of it, imagine that diamond. We got the 4 purple squares. So we've got the top and the sides of the diamond, and they go down to the bottom. And then we had said that each of those, or on that diamond, there were 9 points, like the Kabbalah ladder. Okay, so we're kind of looking at the same thing here. So you've got these, spirit beings, these humans who are trying to operate outside of God's will in order to gain control of dominion of the earth and the spiritual gates. Now, why do they want dominion over the spiritual gates?
Yeah.
We've talked about Satan's or Lucifer's agenda. His agenda is that he wants to open those major gates all at one time. And he wants humans to host his demonic generals and his demonic army. And because humans can enter those gates and go through them. So he wants them to get his demonic army through those gates so he can usurp the throne of God and sit on God's throne and declare himself God. But now we're starting to bring in the highest players of this Luciferian system. So as we do that, we've got those 5 colored circles there in the middle. Those represent the 5 mothers of darkness. The main spirit that they are connected to is going to be Ashtaroth. It doesn't mean that they don't connect with the other ones, but they're going to be intricately connected with her as the Queen of Heaven and that spiritual gate. And so what this does, it breaks down, what spiritual gate is there. That's going to be internationally, that's going to be in Germany. That's going to be Neuschwanstein. In the United States, that gate is going to be in Chicago.
Wow.
Around them, you've got those 4 blue diamonds. Those represent their protectors. The reason, and you notice those 5 circles and those 4 blue diamonds, what do they form? They form that square where you have man and you have woman. Okay, so that's important. They're recreating everything that dominionly wise the Lord's put in place in these ritual positions. The little black diamonds that we see, those are going to be 8 distinct women. 7 of them are known as the 7 deadly sins. The one that is to the far, kind of above the yellow square, that's kind of not filled in all the way, that's the 8th deadly sin, and she's known as death. They are an elite group of sisters of light who are assassins, and they only operate in the spiritual world. So they're not, assassins who are going to be physically killing. They only operate in the spiritual world.
Wow.
So then we get to the colored squares that are kind of on the outside there. And the colors are representing in here, you know, they're representing positions and the quadrants that these individuals are going to be over, not necessarily like the ritual colors. So the Phoenix is going to be in charge of the West. So we've got Sweden and Norway. Then as we move over, we've got the green, and that's going to be the Pindar. He's going to be connected to the Masons, and he's going to be in charge of the UK, Antarctica, and North America, the big spiritual gates that are there.
Wow.
Then you've got the yellow, which is the Eastern quadrant, and that's going to be the priest. And the priest is going to be in charge of the gates that are in Russia, China, and Israel. And then the red is going to be the prophet, and he's going to be in charge of the gates that are in Iraq, Iran, China, and Tibet. So these are the 9 major gates that the principalities oversee.
Sorry, Jessie, for interrupting. When you say gates, are you referring to portals?
Yes.
As in that the
actual spiritual gate portals. Yep.
So the places you mentioned, for those that are watching, might be a little confused on Earth. Those specific locations are who runs them, and those are the portals on planet Earth.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
The Phoenix is the individual who sits at the top seat of the Satanic Council and oversees the Satanic Council. So that's going to be, you know, the group that runs the system, and, you know, they're like a board of directors. They're going to oversee all the departments in their quadrant. They're going to make sure that all the departments are running properly. They're underneath each of the members that are in there are going to sit under one of the mothers. So they'll get their orders directly from one of the mothers of darkness and will fulfill those. The former Phoenix was George Soros. And then this past May, we had Obama took that position. So
wait a minute. Sorry, yeah. You're dropping a huge bomb here. So Obama is now the Phoenix?
Yes, Obama is the Phoenix of the Satanic Council. George Soros, you know, worked hand in hand with one of his high priests under him to run the Eastern Quadrant, the Western Quadrant, and that was Oprah Winfrey. And so who did we see when Obama took his position this May? He did that by giving a speech to seniors. And when he gave that speech, who was the person who was doing that with him? That was Oprah. And so they were declaring that they were working together within the system, you know, showing who's in what rank. And we also know that George Soros had funds, you know, that were for universities, college students, high school students. That was his humanitarian effort. So each of the council members will have a different area that they financially invest in, or they do different humanitarian projects in. So when Obama took that position, he was declaring that he was overtaking Soros's humanitarian effort. And Oprah is the person who works with him on that. So they oversee those funds and distribute them. So that was one of the ways that we know that Obama took that position.
Wow.
So the next person that we're talking about is the Pindar. And now this is the person that is in the Masonic realm. There are different degrees. So, you know, the lower degrees are the 1st through 3rd degrees. Those individuals usually are not involved, you know, with any of the higher level black magic. They're not aware of the ritual things or, you know, the worship of Lucifer that happens at the higher levels. But the degrees go all the way up to 100 levels. so the Pindar is going to be the top person who sits as the highest person at 100 degrees in the Masonic department. And he's going to be overseeing, and those spiritual gates that are at the UK, Antarctica, North America. He's going to be working in conjunction with Baal and Azazel.
Wow.
So his job is to prepare the way in the end times for the beast among the nations through political alliances. So he's going to be an individual who, is very connected with the political, the financial, and the economic world. And he's going to be connecting all of those things, overseeing all of them, and the individuals who, are running the finances, the economy. So he'll kind of be the back runner in that and preparing that system. So that would, include the one world money, the one world economy. Then we have the prophet. So the prophet's job in these last days is he's going to be preparing the world for the coming beast. Part of the way he's going to do that is he's going to work hand in hand with two other individuals that are going to step forward. One of those individuals is the priest that we've mentioned, who's over the gates that are Russia, China, Israel. That priest will be the high priest who is going to be coming forward as the Temple of Israel is being built, or it'll be finished. So when it's finished, whoever that high priest is, that's going to be this guy. And his job is going to, work in conjunction with the prophet and the Pope, who oversees, the world churches. And they're going to make a one world religion, a one world church, and they're going to prepare the people for worship of the beast.
Wow.
If we go back to that graphic from the blog, I want to show just 4 more players here that we're going to see come forward. Outside of that, the colored squares and stuff, there's those 4 purple squares.
Yes.
Those represent the positions for 4 kings. Now, they're not literal royals, or, they may not actually have a throne or a kingdom, but they're just called the 4 kings. And these 4 individuals are completely sold out to the to the spirits that they are serving. So, the king in the north is an individual who has Abaddon as his main host. The king of the west is going to have Samael. The king of the east is going to have Baphomet, and the king of the south is going to have Thoth. So these 4 kings are going to be behind the scenes. Their job is to help what I call the 4 Ps, the Phoenix, the Pindar, the prophet, and the priest. So, they're going to be, they may not even show their faces, but they're there. They're going to be operating, and they're going to be in direct communication with those spirits and relaying, the will of those spirits to those people. The 4 Ps.